feel like the only person in the entire world, and perhaps I'm actually the only person in the entire world, who has not yet decorated for Christmas. Now, if you have, more power to you. I think we could all use a little extra joy in our lives these days, but no, we haven't put out a single thing. But if there is one thing that is better than decorating for Christmas, it's that feeling you get when you take the decorations down and suddenly everything seems like, all your rooms seem so much bigger, feels like you have so much more space, everything feels fresh and new. It's wonderful. So let's talk about 10 things that you can declutter in December to make that feeling even better. Let's go. Hi guys, it's Laura and I help you live a simpler, happier, more spacious life, and every month I share 10 things that you can declutter to help you take the guesswork out of what to get rid of. And 'tis the season of excess, so a lot of us, definitely myself, need this most this time of year. First up on the list, and this is probably the best time of year to do it, is to go through toys. Why? Because with the promise of new toys, your kids are more likely to want to be able to not kick up a fuss over getting rid of old toys. We do this every year. We make space for all the new stuff that's coming in because realistically, Santa can't bring in new presents if the place is cluttered with old stuff. Ain't nobody got space for that. So if this is a category that you have struggled with and you struggle with throughout the year, this is the month to tackle it. This is the month out of all of them that your kids are going to be the most on board. It doesn't have to be like this massive big cleanup, but maybe just give them a box and ask them to pop in the things that they no longer need. And something else that we do is that, you know, like Santa takes away all of your old toys so that he can fix them up and then give them to other boys and girls, but they're no good to us when they're all broken up and we're not using them anymore. Really great way to create some extra space this month. Serious question though, have you started decorating for Christmas yet? And if so, did you do it earlier this year than you would normally or than you have done in previous years? Because I used to always decorate as soon as December 1st rolled around, and that was considered early. So like my husband was like, it's too soon. But these days I feel like November, as soon as it hits November, it's fair game. And I definitely understand that this year because with everything, people need that extra little bit of twinkle and sparkle in their lives. Having said that though, next on the list is Christmas decorations that you're just not using. So years ago when I was like really into it and full of energy and, you know, didn't have a little kid and a puppy and all that sort of stuff, I wanted to just cover everything in a tinsel. I wanted to have a tree and just decorations everywhere. But now that I'm old, or older at least, and I do have a kid and I do have a puppy, there are decorations that just don't make it out of the box anymore. I don't know, like in recent years I found that once the tree is up, I'm exhausted. I don't want to do anything else, and a lot of the rest of the stuff just gets left there or kind of gets put out in like dribs and drabs, half-heartedly almost, throughout the month of December. And I'm sure you probably have something like that as well that, you know, hasn't seen the light of day or hasn't come out of the box in recent years. Or maybe just over time, some of your decorations are a little bit broken or shabby or just not looking their best anymore. This will not be decluttered. In case anyone is wondering, it's just the first thing I grabbed that was like Christmas decoration off the pile because, like I said, have not decorated yet and probably won't be for at least another week. But yeah, have a look at those decorations, and even as you're decorating, like, and you put up the tree and then some stuff left in the box and you're like, ugh, that's the stuff that you can reconsider and potentially bring to a charity shop or something if it's still in reasonably good condition, and let somebody else decorate their home with it and start their new traditions with that stuff. Next up is gift wrapping supplies. Now hear me out, because I know you're thinking, this is not the time of year to be getting rid of this stuff. This is the time of year when I need it most. So yeah, feel free to wait until all the presents are wrapped, but then look at how much you have used up and look at how much you have left, and then make a kind of reasonable, logical inference as to how much gift wrap and tags and ribbons and stuff you actually need. If you have comfortably wrapped all of your presents and you still have plenty left, then maybe you don't need to keep as much on hand. Or maybe you've got some wrapping paper that just hasn't been used up yet. You can use the natural decluttering method by actually using what you have on hand, using all of those ribbons, using all of those stickers, using all of those pretty tags. If ever there was a time for it, this is it. But do keep in mind as well that chances are over the holiday season, you are probably going to receive a lot of this stuff as well in terms of, you know, gift bags and other ribbons and stuff that people will gift to you. Not as actual gifts, but, you know, surrounding their gifts to you. Because I keep wrapping paper that I get, like I don't rip open a present. I carefully unfold it. Yeah, I'm one of those people. I don't iron it. Now, I don't go that far, but I do keep wrapping paper. I definitely keep gift bags. So yeah, my stash is probably a little bit bigger than it needs to be, and I don't know why, but my husband every year will go and get more gift bags, even though we still have plenty left over from the previous year. But anyway, yeah, gift wrapping supplies, the bags, the wrapping paper, the tags, the ribbons, all the cute stuff that goes on them. Now's the time to kind of reevaluate your stash and figure out what is a realistic amount that you would need. Because I would be willing to bet if you're anything like me, you have more than that amount. Okay, I'm actually very proud of myself for this next one because I went around the house looking for them, thinking that I had this item, and I realized actually I don't anymore, because I used them up. So pat on the back for me, but I have grabbed this basket to kind of represent what I'm talking about. But incidentally, this is also another thing. If you keep nice baskets, which clearly I do, thinking that you can use them to gift to other people, you know, put stuff in, that's one that you can lump in with the wrapping supplies. But it also is fitting for this category, which is keeping a kind of a gift stash, you know, that you keep all of those like bath sets and random bits and pieces that you can use to gift to somebody if you discover at the last minute that you don't have something for them. It's all of those bits and pieces that you pick up throughout the year and kind of hold on to, but if it's been sitting there for more than a year and you haven't actually gifted it to anyone, either gift it this year, again, the natural decluttering, naturally getting rid of it in the way that it's supposed to be used, or just donate that stuff. Listen, it's all well and good, and I used to do it back in the day, you know, there'd be sets, there'd be 3 for 2 or something. So you'd end up picking up loads of random little gift packs and gift sets, thinking these will come in handy, you know, if I need a present last minute or something, somebody gifts something to me and I don't have anything to give back to them, or I remember someone last minute every year. It's like the postman or my daughter's teacher or the bus driver or somebody. I always forget I'm supposed to gift a certain person something. So yeah, but if you have a stash of things and you're not actually gifting them, this is the year to either do it or donate it. Either way, declutter them. I'll be keeping this basket though because it's a nice basket. It's the equivalent of the good box. You keep a box because it's a good box. This is a good basket. Oh, I never learn. Okay, let's move upstairs for this next one. Okay, let's talk kitchen gadgets. I know kind of naturally in a kitchen there are some things that you use more than others. There are some things that are kind of only brought out on special occasions, but if you have gone the entire year, you know, you've gone through Easter, you've gone through all of the birthdays and events and anniversaries and big family dinners and Thanksgiving and all of that, and there's something in your kitchen that you did not use, some gadget that did not see the light of day throughout all of that time, maybe it's time to let it go. And not just that, but if there is something there that you do only bring out for those special occasions that roll around every now and again, then consider getting it out of your kind of prime space, because there's very little that is more frustrating than having to root through a lot of things that you either hardly ever use or don't use at all to get to the stuff that you actually do use on a regular basis. So if that stuff is just taking up prime real estate in your kitchen and you only use it once or twice a year, consider either moving it to like a higher shelf on a cupboard, a really low shelf in a cupboard, or just out of your kitchen completely, maybe store it elsewhere, but don't have it sitting in with all of your regular stuff if it's just getting in the way. Listen, my cooking skills are at the point where just give me like a frying pan and a saucepan and a bowl, pretty much. And that's me done, like a spoon, a fork and a knife. And I'm good, as long as I have my microwave. Our microwave broke last year and I was just adrift without it. That is pretty much the only kitchen gadget, plus the oven occasionally in the hob. But yeah, the microwave is probably the one that I use the most. But listen, I'm learning. That's what next year is for, right? Okay, down here to our junk cupboard, which is actually looking a little more junky than usual. So this is going to need some attention soon. But batteries, because Christmas morning is not the time to be finding out that you do not have the right type of batteries, or that you do have them, but they're dead. Batteries are like pens. They are all over the house. They're everywhere. You're constantly running into them. But then when you actually need one, either nowhere to be found, nowhere, or you do find one and it's empty. Why? I don't know. Great mystery of the universe. But anyway, if you are buying toys or things that require batteries, or you're about to buy things that require batteries, make sure that you're buying the batteries with the thing, or at least making a note to buy them, because like I said, Christmas morning, not the time to be finding out that you need some. Preferably get rechargeable ones. I am switching a lot to rechargeable these days. My husband still prefers the older type ones because they last longer, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, but yes, if you have rechargeable ones, now's the time to charge them up so that they're ready to go. And if you don't, then yeah, like I said, consider rechargeable ones and make sure that those are charged if you do buy them. Or better yet, just avoid buying anything that requires batteries. Your eardrums will thank me. Oh yeah, this definitely needs work. But that's for another day. Just close those doors over. Magic. Next up then is your movie collection. I don't know about you, but I feel like December is probably the time where as a family we watch the most films together. We've already watched Elf and it's only a matter of time before we break out Home Alone. Also, Die Hard has been a Christmas tradition for me and Sam for many years now. But that's just it, isn't it? Like, I feel like most of us tend to go back to the same films, or at least the same type of film, over and over again. Like, we re-watch our favorites. This can be a great time of year to whittle down your movie collection. Obviously keep the ones that, you know, you do re-watch on a regular basis. Die Hard will be going nowhere. But yeah, if you've got like a large movie collection, or maybe you've got some on DVD but you don't actually have any way of playing them, or maybe VHS if you're really old school. Do you really need that many? Could you switch to a digital format or something like that? Could you stream it if you ever wanted to watch it again? Do you have movies there that you haven't yet watched and you're probably not going to watch? Because movies are like books, aren't they? Like, you could never watch all of them. You can never get through all of them because there are just so many out there. And like, part of me thinks that's a very depressing thought, but at the same time, you have limited hours in your day, so stick to the ones that you actually already love, or the things that you think you will actually like, and get rid of all of the ones that you haven't yet watched, even though you've had them for quite a while. Again, like with the kitchen gadgets, a year is probably a good time frame. If you haven't watched it in the past year and you've had it for that long, it's probably not something that you're going to watch in the next year. Stick to your favorites, pick a few that you haven't seen yet but you genuinely think you will watch in the near future, and then see if you can just let go of the rest. Now, this next one may raise a few eyebrows for some of you, but hear me out on this one. At least give it some consideration. That is your Christmas card list. I have never sent out Christmas cards, and I don't think anybody thinks any less of me because of it. Listen, if you send out Christmas cards and you love it, it's a tradition that you really enjoy and you love connecting with other people, go for it. But if you find that it's a stressful experience, a very time-consuming experience at a time of year when time is kind of at a premium, you know, you've got lots to do, or if it's just maybe an expense that doesn't really fit in the budget anymore, because listen, it is very expensive, particularly if you are getting professional photos taken. Then you've got to get them all printed, you've got stamps and the whole shebang. So if that's just not something that fits into your budget, or that you want to fit into your budget, or if you don't want to give the time to that anymore, then consider just letting it go. If you feel that some people will be asking where the card is, or waiting for it, or expecting it, you can maybe just let people know that you've decided this year that you're going to put your Christmas card budget towards, you know, a family trip or something like that. Also, if you still decide that you do want to keep up the tradition, but you want to maybe scale back, then just have a look at your list and see if there's anyone on it that you don't really keep in contact with anymore. Because the reality is, a lot of us, if you do send out Christmas cards, chances are it's something that you started many years ago, and over the years you have been adding people to your list, but you probably have not been pruning your list. As we go through life, we naturally fall out of touch with people, but you might just keep them on your Christmas card list just because, you know, maybe old neighbors, old colleagues, old acquaintances. But either cut out the Christmas card list thing entirely, if you're brave enough to do it, if you want to do it, or at least consider whittling it down your list, so that will reduce the amount of expense and the amount of time that you have to put into it. And it will just ease some of the pressure that you feel at this Christmas. And it will just ease some of the pressure that you might feel at this Christmas season if you have a lot of other things to do. I just have 1 or 2 generic Christmas cards that I keep on hand to give to, like, the postman, my daughter's teacher, etc. when I'm giving them little gifts. They're just kind of standard, cheap, like charity ones, you know, they benefit some cause. And that's pretty much the extent of it. Now let me throw you a bit of a curveball. What about all of the cards that you have previously received from people? I'm one of these. Like, I keep a lot of the cards that I get, and then my stack just becomes unmanageable. So over the years, I have been whittling it down, and nowadays I generally will only keep the most recent one, or if one is particularly special, you know, it was our first Christmas as a married couple, or the first Christmas after we had Scout, like those types of things, I will keep those cards. But otherwise, all the old ones, they get recycled. So if, like that, you have a stash of lots of previous Christmas cards and you really don't need to keep all of them, that's something that you could whittle down and save yourself some space. And then as the new ones come flooding in, you can get rid of the old ones, or make it a point again to get rid of the ones that you've received this year if you don't want to keep them as soon as the Christmas season is over. Don't just do what I sometimes do, which is just pack them up with the Christmas decorations and like set them aside for another year. They're just sitting in a box for a year, doing nothing except taking up space. No. Recycle them now. That's a bit crooked, isn't it? Anyway, we're just gonna roll with it. I'm realizing now as I'm going throughout the house that all of these places that I'm sitting are places that I would normally have decorated for Christmas. Like the fireplace and like the chair over there, that is where our Christmas tree normally goes. But yeah, could have had a lot of Christmassy festive vibes going on in this video, but no. Just not ready for it. I'm not ready for it this year. Anyway, let's move on to, I can't remember what the next one is. What's the next one? Oh yes, overbooking yourself for the holiday season. Now, if ever there was a year to overbook yourself and to try and do all of the things, this is probably it, because chances are for a large chunk of the past year, you maybe haven't seen your family and friends, or not as much of them as you would have liked. Maybe you haven't got out and socialized as much as you would like. As an introvert, I've done all the socializing I need to last me a lifetime. But yeah, I understand that this Christmas might be the one where you feel like you need to go all out, particularly if last Christmas it just didn't turn out the way you wanted. Completely understandable. I think a lot of us feel that way. But again, just make sure that you're not over committing yourself. Something kind of strange, unusual that I have noticed is that people who are now starting to go places and, you know, like re-engage with the world again, I've heard a few people say that it's actually exhausting them. I guess socializing and interacting drains them a lot more because they're just not used to it anymore. And like, part of me is like, hey, welcome to my world. So while yes, the temptation is definitely there to do all of the things and decorate all of the things and go to all of the parties, just be sure that you are not just going to be stressing yourself out, essentially. Give yourself some buffer time, give yourself time to relax and recharge and just enjoy and savor the festive season. Give your schedule a little bit of breathing space. And then I want you to let go of guilt. I want you to let go of any guilt you feel about stuff that you didn't get to this year. You know, maybe you had grand plans, maybe you had certain resolutions or goals or things that you wanted to do, and at the end of the year, as it's coming towards the end of the year, you're thinking, oh, I really just didn't get to that and I should have, or, you know, you're beating yourself up about not doing it. Just stop that right now. Again, like with the movies and the books, there are like infinite possibilities for the things that you could do, and you did the best that you could this year. Maybe you didn't hit all of your goals, but I bet you hit a lot of them, or some of them, even if they're small goals. Maybe they weren't the ones that you set for yourself at the beginning of the year. I mean, how many of us actually stick to our goals? A year is a long time. We were probably different people than we were back at the beginning of the year. So it's okay if you have kind of changed course since then. You don't have to feel bad for like not doing things that you thought you would do a year ago. I definitely did not hit all of my goals, and I am a goal person, I am a resolutions person, but no, like I just didn't. I did other things, my priorities changed, my circumstances changed. Lots can happen in the space of a year. Plus, it's just really hard to maintain kind of momentum and motivation for things for that long. Impossible, in fact. So don't feel bad, don't beat yourself up if there are things that you kind of wanted to do or planned to do that you didn't get around to. I'm sure some of it was just completely outside of your control with the state of the world right now, but some of it, yeah, you just like you did other things instead, and that's okay. Maybe you want to recommit to them for next year, maybe you want to kind of change tack, maybe you realize that you do have different priorities and you're not the same person anymore and you're kind of reevaluating, and that's okay. We're all reevaluating and changing and evolving as time goes on. Draw a line under it and then step over that line and just keep moving forward. I also like to declutter this like lump that my hair does. I have a cow's lick right here, so all my hair here actually like stands up, and it's really hard to like get it to lie flat or do like anyway. I probably will actually declutter this hair pretty soon. It's already what I would consider long, so yeah, we'll be getting the chop again very soon. But tell me, how are you feeling about Christmas this year? I know some people are kind of like, you know what, I need the extra joy and excitement in my life, and you know, they have decorated early, and there are other people who are just like, ugh. I think I'm at the ugh stage right now, where just like supply chain issues and the thoughts of, you know, more stuff in the house and having to buy more stuff and bleh. I'm just not there yet, but my family are hopefully coming for Christmas this year. I cannot wait. I'm so excited about it. I'm just not quite there yet at the stage where I'm ready to like decorate all the things and bring everything out. Not quite. I will get there. But yes, how are you feeling about this Christmas? Where do you stand on the like festive seesaw this year? Anyway, that's it. I hope this video gave you some great ideas if you want to catch up on the entire year's worth, because I've now done a year's worth of them. I will be continuing next year, I think. Would you like me to continue the series next year? But yes, if you're stuck, go back through. I will link the playlist for you. You can go back through the entire year, just chip away at your clutter, and then you can start the new year clutter-free. Until next time then, go raibh míle maith agaibh, agus feici mé sibh go luath. Slán. P.S. I do believe